Are you subscribed? Because you need to be. I bring this up at the top of the video because too many of you are telling me that you do subscribe and then you find yourselves unsubscribed. And I want you, we at the Warriors want you to get information about the number one crime in America, in our opinion, and a lot of others, going on right around all of us, happening in every town, city, and rural area across America. We would call that human slavery. You might think it's trafficking, and that's the word used. But you know what? Slavery is a much more descriptive word. Mann Act, Mania. Do you know what the Mann Act is? MANN, established in 1910. And it was an act where you cannot take a girl or a woman and transport her over state lines for the specific person of human trafficking or other heinous crimes. Just recently, Dirty Diddy, he must sit in his jail cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center here in New York, specifically in Brooklyn, and he must just sit there and think of things all day long. I guess he has plenty of time on his hands. I don't know how much he's doing. He's playing chess and he's complaining about food and he's got some TV privileges and internet privileges, and I think he throws a basketball around. But he came up the other day with this whole attack on him, this sex trafficking, because that is one of the things he's being charged with, right? Is racist. And because he's a successful black man, that now this is racist, the Mann Act, and he's throwing this all into the mix. I, however, look at this as, you know what, and of course media jumps on this. Look, here's the bottom line. The trial begins in May. Let's get to the trial as we enter almost March right now. I'm very curious if we'll even get there. Second, actually I think we probably will, because he has such a big ego and he's got a team of lawyers, and I think he's in such denial. Again, remember, proven, innocent until proven guilty, or until proven indigent. A line I stole from my husband, who is a lawyer. Innocent until proven indigent. But let's get back to Dirty Diddy. He is a master at just deflection. Most manipulators, con men, they just keep talking. They just keep throwing out. They take their story and flip it on the victims, right? They are the victim, not the actual victim, right? Listen, we've heard about all these freak-offs, these white parties that were happening here in New York in the Hamptons. We heard about them for years, for decades now. I used to say to myself, I stopped for a minute because I'm thinking, even maybe 30 years ago, definitely 25, I would hear stories just in New York about Dirty Diddy. And you just heard them. Even pre-internet, you just heard them. And why wasn't he ever held accountable? So we know that he's had plenty of money around him. We know he's had plenty of people. Because remember, a line I like to use, money talks, crime walks. And he's been able to get away with so many things for so long. What happened here? I don't know. Did he cross somebody? Did he? We just don't know. I always say, why now, right? After 3 decades or so of his being on the scene. But he's now pulling out the Mann Act. And I want to tell you, I find this so offensive, because working in the field of human trafficking, slavery, it is hard enough with our judicial system the way it is to prosecute those who cause harm, right? These predators. And it is certainly hard enough when somebody is legally of age, which is why I keep saying with the Dirty Diddy case, we must see what is the video evidence, what was on those hard drives, or what is on those hard drives, to hold him and his accomplices, because he couldn't do any of this alone. I don't care if it's from, booking reservations at hotels and trains and planes and bringing women in, perhaps girls, we don't know. Boys, men have been named too. Shopping, clothes, a lot of people are involved. So this is a whole team of predation going on, in my opinion. So to use the Mann Act, a piece of legislation, which we try in so many cases, and it is so tough. Were these women and men with Dirty Diddy? Certainly they were flown in. We know that from a lot of different places. But they're of age, so far from what we know. So I think the line to go down with Dirty Diddy is certainly how we can enforce that. Were there any minors involved? And again, what were those hard drives, tapes as they called them, when they did the raid on the homes in Miami and also out in California? And everybody, of course, is jumping to conclusions. We have to make this case stick. And also, I was recently on a show with a former publicist of Diddy's, Rob Shooter. Naughty But Nice is his podcast. Let me give him a little plug. And he's been around New York. And he said that Diddy, working with him, is the master of flipping the dialogue, of blaming others, of taking things and creating so it always surrounds him. But I'm here, and I'll always be here to remind you. Understand, innocent until proven guilty. But we focus always on survivors, listening to them and supporting them, listening to victims and supporting them, hearing their stories. Because when many different people who do not know each other come forward with very similar stories, where there's smoke, there's fire. You know it and I know it. There's something to be said about all of this surrounding Dirty Diddy. Mann Act, how dare he? How dare he discredit when we are working so hard to also educate today in 2025 our law enforcement, our judicial system, to bring them up to date, to have them enforce laws that are on the books, to hold those who cause harm accountable. While so many other things are going on, things like this fall to the bottom of the totem pole, I like to say, but not with me around. Because remember, our hashtag is community creates change. And if we keep at it and we keep talking and we keep bringing forth that we will support victims and survivors, more of them will come out and help us hold predators accountable, sex buyers accountable, those who cause harm accountable. So join me, join us each and every day. When you wake up, go out and be a warrior.